This is your weekly fix. I'm Smitha Nair. Your news feed is no doubt saturated with reports of violence against women, so much so that you are perhaps desensitized to it. But occasionally, a case like the horrific murder of Shraddha Walkar by her partner Aftab Poonawala forces public discourse, at least momentarily, to focus on violence against women. Unsurprisingly, though, here too, the discourse quickly devolved into victim blaming. And like in the aftermath of every rape before this, or every case of a woman's murder by a stalker, an ex boyfriend, or a husband, here too, Shraddha's life choices were held out as a cautionary tale. This is what happens when educated girls leave their parents and get into live in relationships, said Kaushal Kishore, minister in the Modi government. He is by no means the only one. I'm sure in homes across the country, many parents were sitting their daughters down and warning them of a similar fate were they to exercise their agency. I have no doubt this case, like many before it, resulted in harsher curfews for young women, in restricting their access to phones, means of communication, forced early marriages, even. Somehow, it is hard to imagine that this crime resulted in reduced freedoms for young men, or that their parents sat them down and pointed to Aftab Poonawala as the cautionary tale of patriarchy and the harms it begets. We're looking at intimate partner violence today and how the justice system has dealt with it over the years. Every 11 minutes, a girl or a woman is killed by an intimate partner or family member. These are global statistics. In India, the National Family Health Survey found at least 32% married women faced spousal violence, physical and sexual. In the latest available NCRB data, 31.8% of crimes against women were crimes of cruelty by husband and his relatives. Let's speak to Supreme Court advocate Shobha Gupta. Ms. Gupta, you may recall, was the lawyer for Bilkis Bano. She runs We, the Women of India, a foundation that she set up following the Hathras case. Thank you so much, Ms. Gupta, for making the time for speaking to us here at Scroll.
Hello, Smita. Pleasure is mine.
Right. To begin with, ma'am, a couple of questions first on the Shraddha Walkar case specifically. Would the protections of the Domestic Violence Act have applied in Shraddha's case? Section 2F of the Act has a broad definition of domestic relationship. But in reality, how would it work? Will an unmarried young woman going to a police station to complain about domestic assault be treated the same way as a married woman who has gone to complain about spousal violence? That's one question. And I know some of our viewers have written in to ask, there's some confusion over how Domestic Violence Act it differs from 498A, that the IPC section that deals with cruelty. And is that section only dowry related, or is 498A also accessible to women who aren't married?
So, Domestic Violence Act is certainly applicable in live-in relationships, and the judgments are there, which makes it very clear that the moment you are in a relationship which is akin to marriage, and there was earlier judgment of Justice Karju where he made a distinction between these two relationships, between like as a couple, married couple or live-in. But now that has been clarified. So legal position is well settled that the women in a live-in relationship, the partner, female partner in the live-in relationship are entitled for the protection under the Domestic Violence Act. They can seek for all such orders which a married woman can really ask for from the court. That's one part. Now, unfortunately, Smita, the major problem lies in the legal illiteracy by and large amongst the public. We as a country fail seriously in making all this information reach out to people. In fact, I had prepared a chapter and I'm now thinking seriously to do something like that for one university. So, knowledge of basic laws. I believe we must work on that where the armed janta, everybody knows how to make an FIR, how to reach out to police. When the police is saying no, how to deal with them. The necessary sections which tells police can't say no, police can't even shun you off. Even that Telangana doctor's rape and murder case, the girl, parents were running from one police station to another police station to be told that that's not our jurisdiction. So all that to be informed to them that, the moment you reach out to a police station, it is the duty of that particular police station to register your FIR. It's none of the business of the police person, so to say, that family matter hai, settle it between two of you, try to settle it out, try to crease out the differences, start punishing. We need to have the process started to punish those police persons, especially in Shraddha's case. Because the fact shows, I was just watching few of the news reports, that she actually reached out with a written complaint in 2020. So to say that I fear he might kill me, he has threatened me that I'll kill you, cut you in pieces. And then it was 20 days later or 27 days later, it was settled and she withdrawn her complaint.
Hmm.
That is unfortunately happens invariably in each and every single case of matrimonial dispute. When the police out of blue starts acting as a mediator to say settle it out, family matter hai, why to proceed with it. This change of mindset needs to be there with the police persons, that if there is a family dispute, don't take a violence against women so lightly, and please register a case immediately when a woman is reaching out. Now, the second question you ask is 498A and DVA.
Hmm.
Domestic Violence Act does not take you unless it is clubbed with 498A or
Correct.
other provisions of Indian Penal Code. It
Hmm.
doesn't take you to a criminal prosecution.
Yes.
So it's a quasi criminal, quasi civil litigation or the jurisdiction where you make a complaint, you seek for protections. It can be financial, monthly maintenance, it can be a shelter, a roof on your head, it can be a protection order restraining the person not to reach out to the female. That person can be husband, can be a partner, or can be anybody related to the husband or partner. So, and other, if EMI have to be paid, and several other orders which are all within the definition or ambit of protection can be asked for.
Hmm.
The moment you club that violence along with any of the IPC provisions, or maybe in DBA also, once the court is of the opinion that this is a matter which should be registered as an FIR and to be proceeded further, then an FIR has to be registered, and it takes the shape of a criminal case.
Correct.
It can be straight away a criminal complaint which takes care of both the aspects, that you say these are the atrocities being caused upon me, please take action.
Hmm.
So that was primarily, though in general, by and large, police says DVA plus IPC.
Hmm.
But the moment you goes to a criminal route, it turns into a criminal case, then DVA no more remains in there. But
Okay.
certainly in both the cases, the live-in partner, because of the expansion of the definition by way of judicial pronouncement, can seek the police aid, even the live-in partner.
Hmm. Okay.
So,
Uh,
in simple one line,
hmm.
you need not to be related by any relationship for a complaint to be registered.
Okay.
If you are a victim of a crime, IPC do not ask for a certification of a relationship. If it may not be registered as a DVA case, or if it may not be registered as a 498, it would be registered as a 326, 327, 323, or 307, that is
Hmm.
assault, serious assault, assault by weapon, or attempt to murder.
Hmm.
So why get into the clutches of section A or section B?
Hmm.
Fact remains, if you are a receiver of a violence,
Hmm.
especially when we are talking about women right now, please
Hmm.
go and make and register the case. Headache of
Hmm.
the police person to see which section they have to put in, and for the
Hmm.
lawyers to see what corrections have to be made.
Hmm.
But make the complaint, and please do not take the suggestions of the police person, so to say, please settle it out. This is a family dispute.
Hmm.
The moment a police person tells you this, tell him, please do your job. You are being paid to proceed on the complaint.
Hmm.
Mediation, the court would take care of that. They have the qualified mediator sitting over there. They would take care of that part.
Hmm. Okay.
Point blank, say register it.
Hmm. This is something that you refer to here about the newspaper reports that said that Shraddha had actually written to the police in 2020, specifically talking about the kind of threats that Aftab held out to her. Now, in response to that, some retired police officers have been quoted in the newspaper as saying, as you said too, that the police have made a mistake here. Despite the fact that she later withdrew the complaint, the fact that she gave specifics of the kind of violence she had faced should have led to the cops perhaps even assigning a protection officer in this case. Now, I wanted to know whether there is some confusion over how this has been reported. I know for a fact that you have a writ petition in the Supreme Court relating to the appointment of protection officers. And I understand that protection officers mostly comes under the ambit of DVA.
Absolutely. Only under DBA.
Only under DVA. So can you sort of explain, because a lot of people are unfamiliar with the existence of this protection officer, who the protection officer should be, and what's the role?
Honestly, I am actually thinking we must run a portal public podium where we are training everybody about all of these aspects.
Right.
So, protection officers, your DVA is, a one-stop window. When you had IPC is something you go, make a complaint, police would examine it, register an FIR, proceed further with the investigation, charge sheet, criminal trial, and conviction. But DVA deals with a scenario where, a woman may be an illiterate person, woman who is so much violated in the house that she doesn't have the guts to go to the police station. We have a kind of, unfortunately, we do not have a feeling of a support system, a security when we see a policeman, and when we think of an idea of going to a police station. It's unfortunately a fear psychosis. So the police for us is still a Britishers police, that British time police, that they are somebody who would attack on us, or maybe we are not so safe to go to them, unfortunately. But to deal with this aspect, DVA creates a system where you are sitting at home, just see from net. If you can actually go to net and examine, you find out the protection officer close to you, nearby your area. Or service providers. Service providers are again agencies who register themselves to serve the women who need help. So you just see the number, reach out to the protection officer, and just say that I need help, I am suffering domestic violence. The protection officer, as per law, is supposed to reach out to you at your doorstep, ask you, ma'am, how may I help you? You narrate everything. Sometimes it may be a case that a simple counseling can work. Or the protection officer feels that no, you should be taken to a magistrate court for your complaint to be registered. Now, all that duty would be upon the protection officer under the Act to have legal aid to you, to put a complaint before the magistrate court, to seek monthly maintenance, to seek immediate interim orders. It can be shelter, it can be anything else, it can be medical aid. It might be a case that the woman who has been beaten badly is calling up the protection officer. Now, in that whole of the thing, why we had to file the writ petition? Because how do a maid working in a house, okay, or a person who is literate but living in an area where there is no internet, or somebody so badly beaten up, my every phone and all gadgets have been taken away from me. How do I get the number of the protection officer through the net or any other facility? Now, unfortunately, so far we have not grown up this much as a country that these numbers are easily available on all grocery shops, on all police stations, on post offices, community centers, walls like advertisements. Why not in your common area you have on different walls the numbers of the protection officers made available? Why there is not a simple number which can help you out? So there is one number which is so easy, and anybody who's hearing this can actually remember that: 181. This is a simple number for as a women helpline, national portal. From any area it would work for you. It would immediately register, and unfortunately most of the places it is working well. You dial 181. Delhi, it works amazingly good. I have tried it as a trial. So immediately the close by police station would call you, the protection officer would call you, it would be registered, they would take note of it. If you say I need immediate help, they would rush to you, and then the system would start working for you. You have, under the Domestic Violence Act, a provision for immediate shelter to be provided. Now, if my husband has beaten me badly, I somehow reach out to a police station. They lodge a complaint. They say, go back to your home. I can't go back to the home again. He would beat me again. So it is their duty that they should provide you shelter immediately to a nearby shelter home. Each police station must have the number of the protection officer and the shelter home. The concept of the DVSA, the shelter home cannot deny shelter to be provided to the women in need. Minimum 3 days shelter can be provided or immediately walk in. It can be further extended on case based, depending on the facts of the particular case. Your children up to the age of 12, the boy, and up to the age of 18, the girl, both can be taken along with the wife, by the wife, to the shelter home. Nowadays, you also have a one-stop center system. Okay. So if you dial one-stop centers, you would get number. Now in India, we have 704 one-stop centers. They are also serving as a one-stop window for the women who are victim of violence, victim of any violence. You can just call, and these numbers are available. We are trying in our petition to make it, a very simpler way that somebody can just dial some number or maybe some button, one button, and a signal reaches out in place of remembering a 10-digit mobile number. But 181, in whatever area it is working, if it is working well, it would certainly help you. You just dial that number and say, I need all this help.
Okay.
They
I
would
just
provide
want
you,
to.
they would provide you as a legal, as a statutory requirement, the medical aid, free legal aid, free medical aid, shelter, and all process to be followed up. The protection officer has to be there with you as a guide all through till you say, no, I don't need the protection officer anymore. But this is
Uh,
all written black and white. I'm saying it's still need time in so many areas for all this to work in
to
a
get
very
functioning.
idealistic state.
Correct. One a clarification and a sort of added question to it, ma'am. You referred to how the Mumbai police, in this case, you were surprised at the manner in which they dealt with the case, given that a detailed sort of letter was provided to them by the now deceased Shraddha Walkar about the sort of violence she was facing and the kind of potential threat she faced in future. Now, some of the defenders of the Mumbai police, again, in those former cops who have been sought out for their comments, some of them have said, "Arey, she withdrew the case. The police's hands are tied if the woman is unwilling to cooperate, and therefore, in this case, you cannot say that the Mumbai police should have acted if the woman herself has withdrawn." Of course, they are not referring to what could have potentially transpired there. As you said, I myself, in the course of my reporting, have seen so many cases where the police have said, "Ki, arey, at the end of the day, the marriage is more important than why you washing your dirty linen in public." Falana, ye to I've heard like over the years, every police station you go to, this is the in domestic violence cases. So I want to ask you very specifically, ma'am, once again, is it your position that the Mumbai police had made a mistake here, and those that refuse to proceed on that complaint should be penalized in some manner, or an inquiry should be initiated against them?
No, not only, see, one, they are at mistakes, certainly at mistake. Two, no, they should not be dealt with light hand. They, not only a disciplinary inquiry should be initiated, but in this particular case, they should be booked along with AFTA
Okay.
under 34. They had played a role. Unfortunately, they had an information. You cannot assign them for today what has been done with Shraddha, but the fact remains she could have been saved have they acted upon. Why not book them for murder charges for read with section 34? Section 34 says you were hands and gloves, or you had played a role when somebody stands on a door and does not allow somebody to go out or somebody to come in. You charge them under section 34, so to say you had played a role. This much is needed that they are being prosecuted It would send a message at large. What is the business of a police person to mediate or so to tell? And it's not in one case. I can tell you in each and every single case, the first approach of the police is, oh, husband wife का matter है, घर में sort out कर लो. Believe you me, in rape cases also, unfortunately, forget marital rape. In your country, a crime on a woman does not matter much. That's why you get orders, even judicial orders from the highest court, dealing with situations where POXO cases, despite the fact that minor cannot give a consent. We are discussing very highly these days, including our female judges, that we need to amend POXO Act, so to say, consent of a minor, consensual relationship, if the minor cannot give consent. Why are you dealing with consensual relationship? Every aspect has, two sides of a coin. But fact remains, bottom line is, a crime against women does not matter much to all of us in our country. Unfortunately, we deal with it so lightly. We will talk Shraddha and Aftab case for a few days. Meanwhile, some other would be girl would be murdered, and we'll start dealing with that. If you punish few police officers for this, or why not central government issue a circular that no police person is supposed to be giving mediation or doing mediation or giving advices to the women to withdraw the cases? Proceed with the case. It is some business of the husband and wife. If they want to settle between themselves, they would be settling it. But otherwise, you should be guiding the girl that if you are beating up, please do not go back to the house. Please do not go back to the same person. So what? You had married yourself, or you are living with someone against wishes of your parents. So what? Your parents may not be approving your idea of living with the person. So what? Now you are today proven wrong. Please correct your mistake ASAP. This is a human life you are dealing with. Your one silly mistake can cost a life, which has costed in this case. The police officers should volunteer themselves, so to say, please book us. It were we who allowed this murder to happen. Because she had already pointed out, and case of this nature, where she's saying he had threatened me, he would kill me and cut me into pieces.
Correct.
How come after this line you would allow this case to be compromised? And what were they doing for 27 days? How come in those 27 days a FIR was not filed and After was not arrested? What else they wanted for this complainant to say?
Right.
Unless you become very tough with every single stakeholder dealing with violence against women. Unless the woman starts saying we prize our life like anything, we prize our dignity like anything, we prize our integrity like anything, and we do not allow you to, deal with it in any lighter manner. We have to start respecting ourselves. She should have, give a message at large to all the girls. So what? You ran away, started living with someone by way of a marriage or otherwise, and later on realized it was a mistake. Don't wait for anybody's certification for your decision. Give yourself another certificate, so to say, I committed a mistake. Now, then I don't want to commit another mistake to continue to live with this person. I'm leaving him immediately. Value your life. React on the first violence on you. It can be raise of voice, it can be raise of eyebrows, it can be raise of hand, it can be raise of a weapon. React on the first violence on you. Tell yourself that I respect myself. Tell other person that I respect myself. Believe you me, even in your office, if somebody raises voice and say, please behave, the person would certainly behave. Nobody kills on a first instance.
Correct. This correct.
We should stop the person on the first violence.
Right.
And
Right.
understand the meaning of violence. Violence is not only slapping, beating, and doing. Violence is somebody who says, don't talk, you don't know anything. Violence starts from there.
Right. Just a sort of perhaps a final question before we go, Ms. Gupta. One has, huge misgivings. You briefly referred to marital rape. One has huge misgivings about how the first sort of point of contact, the police in this case, will respond to marital rape, even if the Supreme Court were to strike down the marital rape exception. I remember this conversation I had with Flavia Agnes, the lawyer and activist whose organization Majlis works with battered women. And we were talking about when the case was first in the Delhi High Court, and I interviewed her, and she laughed and she said, what will happen when women go to the police station? Main batati hu, she said in Hindi. And her exact words were, the cop will look at the woman, laugh and say, Acha, kal mard ke saath sex kiya tha, lekin aaj nahi karegi. And then she said the entire police station will laugh at her. And she says, even in a DVA case, despite which is not explicitly to do with sexual violence necessarily or 498A, we are already the most sort of predominant voice is that misuse. Any law that has to do with um, any sort of vulnerable person, SC, ST, or man, or a woman, is often tagged for being a misuse law, and we have seen much of that. We see much of that conversation on social media as well. And then she says, if marital rape were now to be recognized as it rightly should, she said, as rape, at the end of the day, she said, till the of your first point of contact, your the entire sort of criminal justice system and every stakeholder, as you pointed out, it doesn't sort of reform how they approach this and are forced to do so, are forced to reckon with it. There's going to be no difference at the end of the day for that lone woman going to the police station.
So, as society has yet to become a literate one, and every stakeholder who is dealing with all these things at whatever position, and I am not mincing the word when I'm saying the highest court and the judges over there, everybody comes from the society we belong to. And unfortunately, the society you comes from have a very lasting impression on your growth. So people can claim to be an educated, holding good positions, dealing with things, but it whether your brain, whether your understanding has grown enough. Now, unfortunately, women is a subject matter of consumption, right? And this concept of consumption is not fading away from their mindset. So when a woman have sex, whether this is a consensual relationship between two of them or she is being consumed, even if when this is a consensual relationship, the man would proceed with the impression that I use the person and therefore I'm using someone, then how come somebody is saying no for it? Now they apply their test upon other person who comes for registering a complaint, because what they are doing at home on daily basis, for them, every woman who comes to them, they see the person from that spectrum. The woman have to become strong enough so to say, I have come to you to lodge a complaint. The merit of the same can be finally judged with the investigation, charge sheet, and outcome of the trial. We have enough provision in IPC which says if I am lodging a wrong complaint, I can be punished then. I can be prosecuted for that. You keep all those possibilities open that if somebody is lodging a wrong complaint, so don't you have murder cases where the cases are falsely, the people are falsely implicated for murder charges? So do the police persons stop registering murder cases? Every single law is prone to be misused. Whenever you make law, the idea of misuse of the same generates from the day it has been enacted. So why not in other cases you apply this apprehension that it would be misused? So if other laws can be misused and be dealt with the misuser can be dealt with, in this case also the misuser would be dealt with properly. But what if the person who has come to you is making a correct complaint, is suffering because of that? What if a person feels that in a marriage I am being raped on daily basis, and she doesn't want that to happen, continue to happen with her? It is the duty of that police person to register the complaint. if it happens that the marital rape is recognized in our country, right? But assume for a moment it isn't. But assault in the process of establishing a sexual relationship with your wife, and the wife comes and says, I have been assaulted, you can still not say no for a registration of a case because the wife has come and said, I have been assaulted. During assault is assault.
Hmm.
So if you press my hand by force and I say this is an assault, you force yourself upon me, isn't not an assault. So you
Of
may not
course.
register that case under 376. What stops you registering that case at least for assault or sexual assault?
Right.
See, we are fighting out for marital rape,
Hmm.
but sexual assault nobody can deny. At least come halfway.
Hmm.
At least accept the allegation of assault,
Hmm.
sexual assault. Rape, one can deal with later when it is, being dealt with judicially, this section particularly, or
Hmm.
maybe this demand particularly.
Hmm.
But how you don't have till date in your country except one case which is now in Supreme Court,
Hmm.
cases of sexual assault, short of rape, lodged by wife, registered in police stations.
Hmm.
Am I clear what I'm trying to say?
Yes, 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 yes.
How come in your country you don't have those cases?
Hmm.
While, as a matter of fact, you talk to 10 wives, and I believe almost 10 of them would say they are sexually assaulted by their husbands. I'm saying not even 9 out of 10.
Hmm.
And we are permitting that to happen. We are,
Right.
as a country, why we are not bothered that half of your society is living in pain
Hmm.
and that rest of the half have come from you.
Hmm.
Why, as a country, we are not so shamed? See, we are so concerned as a judiciary, we are so concerned as lawyers that we are dealing with constitutional issues.
Hmm.
Even in media, we make so much of the hue and cry when we talk about, constitution matters are being argued. Is it not a constitutional matter? Are the women not part of constitution concern?
Hmm.
So when we say we are talking about women issues, which should be we are talking about societal issue,
Correct.
why the courts are don't feel such a great pride that we are dealing with constitutional issue?
Hmm.
That is one. We are part of the constitution. You have specific articles, specific provisions in constitution dealing with women, not men separately, but women separately.
Hmm.
So why not everybody say with the pride that these are constitutional issues we are dealing with?
Hmm.
And like nowadays, tax matters to be dealt with separately, this bench to be environmental bench. Why don't you have women issues bench
Hmm.
in all constitutional courts?
Right.
Decide every single rape case
Hmm.
in all stages of courts,
Hmm.
within a span of 1 month in any court, be it
Hmm.
trial court, be it high court, be it Supreme Court. The Nirbhaya would have got justice in 3 months.
Hmm. Right.
If
Women's.
that starts happening faster, then
Hmm.
before the public memory fades and another serious rape happens, you would be getting a justice, you would getting a punishment.
Hmm.
But then each one of the stakeholder would have to, you know, see this issue seriously and pay attention, not lip service alone.
Hmm. Correct. Every stakeholder, evidence collection, as you said, also Domestic Violence Act, for instance,
Everybody,
the conviction
including
rate has been
judges.
falling over the last, including judges.
Including, I'm talking, when I say stakeholder, I'm actually not leaving the highest judiciary.
Yes.
I'm saying each one of us,
Right.
be from making the complaint, so complainant becomes the first stakeholder,
Hmm.
to not to miss out to make a complaint. Police
Hmm.
becomes a second stakeholder
Hmm.
to proceed with its sincerity, with sincerity.
Hmm.
Then the lower judiciary, then the high court, and then the Supreme Court.
Hmm.
If each one of us tag a price value which is equal to any other constitutional matters,
Hmm.
we would be a different society.
On that note, Shobha Gupta, thank you so much, ma'am, for making the time, for speaking to us, and for your insight. And we hope to sort of continue this conversation, and not just on intimate partner violence, but other gender related issues with you as well in the future. And thank you for the work that you do.
Please do something to create awareness amongst women. By and large, they must be aware the laws available and the windows open for them to take justice
Right.
and to take
No,
help
no.
to protect
Right.
themselves.
Right. We'll certainly be aiming to do that here on your weekly fix. Thank you for the moment.